Are you ready for the birthday cake, son? Mm. Happy birthday to you. Oh, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, son. Oh my God, Dad, it's such a great birthday. I know, son. One day you'll grow up and have as big of a cake as me. The more birthday cakes you eat, the bigger the cake you will get yourself. Oh boy, I cannot wait. Oh my God. How dare you not be home with curfew? Mother, please. I am 35 and celebrating my own child's birthday. I haven't lived at home for 15 years. How dare you? Off to the basement you go. You will forever be my baby. How dare the new wife not claim you from me? I am the one and only boy, Mom. My hair will devour you. And they lived miserably ever after. Oh yeah, speaking of birthdays, keep an eye out for like the birthday-themed plushies on the channel's birthday, the 2nd of March. Yes, indeed, it's gonna be beautiful. Good evening, Lotties, Lasses, and Lazos, and welcome to the click. You smell absolutely astounding today. And don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. Did that intro give you a hint of what it is we're gonna talk about? That is right. Insane Parents, baby. Booyah! It's gonna be very beautiful, it's a lot of insanity, and it's something that I feel is both kind of funny and important to talk about, because man, some people out there really shouldn't procreate now, should they? So welcome to some good old Insane Parents content. Enjoy. Mwah.
Keychain demon, you're my little precious, ain't ya?
Father.
Come home right now. Come home right now, Blorp. Don't f***ing ignore me. Come home right now and apologize.
Wait, what? Why?
Look at what you've done to your mother. Stepmom crying.
What the f? Why is she crying? What did you do to her?
It's because of you. You f***ing birch. So sex baby.
They sure are a sex baby, alright. That's usually how babies are made. What the heck? Why are you cussing at me and calling insults that don't even make sense? You darn sex baby. I can just imagine in the future when the new norm is to be like a tube baby in the lab and having like a belly button is gonna be a slur. Look at you, belly button child born naturally. Anyway, I digress.
You f***ing told her about me and f***ing Kelly. You f***er f***ing told her and she's f***ing pissed.
About you cheating on her?
She's pissed at you, W-word homewrecker.
Wait, so the child that told the mother that, hey, your husband is cheating on you is the homewrecker, not the person doing the actual cheating. Oh my God, this is some projection if I have ever seen it. What did I do?
You have ruined my marriage.
I don't think you need any help ruining your marriage. I think you're perfectly capable of doing that yourself, it would seem. I just told her the truth.
You should apologize to her. She's f***ing pissed sick at you, and so am I.
Wait, you should apologize. Sorry, Mom. Not about Dad cheating. Sorry I told you he's cheating. I guess it's my fault. Okay, Dad, go off cheating again, because now I've apologized and everything can go back to normal. Why is she upset with me?
You have ruined her marriage.
When you cheated on her. Again. This has happened multiple times. Oh, nah, bruh.
You fucking ruined our marriage again.
Wait a second, so this has actually happened multiple times in the past that this dad is cheating, the child tells on them, and the mom is like, nah. But the positive thing is that it's happened before, so, you know, if it has been destroyed once again, it can be destroyed again. That's wholesome.
I regret the day you were born.
Okay.
Come home now, Blorp.
No.
I am your daddy. You have to listen and respect me. Come home right now.
Yes, indeed, because you're acting so respectfully. No way. Lol.
Come home right phone gong now. You answer me, Blorp. Blorp! Come back now. You're making me and your mother upset.
Sex baby. Yes, babies come from sex. Glad he understood biology. Yeah, lol, I'd be worried if he didn't. There's a lot of other stuff to be worried about, to be fair. This bar is pretty fucking low, if I'm gonna be honest. So this man has cheated multiple times at this point, and been caught doing so multiple times in the past as well. But yet they had the gall to project that the person ruining the marriage is whoever finds out they're cheating, not himself doing the cheating. Man, that is amazing. Imagine if you just murdered someone and then you started blaming the person finding the body like it's their fourth they're dead or something like that. It's like the same level of projection, isn't it? This is wild. So he cheated on her and you're the homewrecker. That whack job needs his head examined. I would say at this point he needs probably both heads examined, because none of them work the way they are supposed to. I guess the positive side about this is now the bar for parents is so incredibly low that any other stories in this video will just look like really wholesome and heartwarming in comparison. Haha, jinxed it. My 31F older brother, 48M, just confirming if blocking him was the correct move. Question. Oh no, Musky Husky. What is Elon doing here?
Sending his love. Liberals said he was doing a Nazi salute, which is 100 emoji wrong. Frankly, they need better dirty tactics. The everyone is Hitler attack is so tired. I saw the inauguration, and he did that gesture and said he sends all his love to everyone. Once again, they take it out of context and try to crucify him. Thanks. Tell your brother to make a video doing the same gesture. You know, just to spread the love. If he refuses, ask him why. Yeah, Musky Husky has done his fair share of derailing over the past few years, hasn't he? You know, one thing about this whole situation that kind of stands out to me is that even after this whole thing blew up, he didn't want to clarify that it wasn't this sort of salute, which sort of leads me to believe that even if it wasn't, even if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt for whatever reason, even though he's shady in many other aspects that would correlate with it to some extent, but even if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, the fact that he did not clarify it also sort of means that he doesn't want to alienate that portion of his fan base, which yeah, take that for what you will. It's a really, really wild thing to do, man. My little sister tried to jump off the flat earth. I found out days later, then asked my dad for more info. Want to fill me in about, sister? Not much to tell you. She did something and requested to be admitted. I was going to call you tonight when I had more information about when she's getting out.
Okay.
She claims she OD'd on her psych meds, but the bottles are still kind of full. At the ER, she asked to be admitted to hospital now, says she won't go back to school except homeschool.
Yeah, that makes sense.
See? Nothing super serious.
Nothing super okay, I was kind of on board with this being like a normal conversation, catching up on family members until that. She only tried to off herself, nothing serious. Jesus Christ, Dad.
I don't think she did. Med counts didn't say she did.
Oh, okay, she only wanted to do it. No biggie, perfectly normal behavior for a teenager. What the frick?
I think she just can't handle being in school, and this is a way to get away from it.
Oh! My God! Speaking from the experience as a kid alumni, if you will, who also wasn't a big fan of school back in the day, I would do stuff to get out of school. For example, fake having a cold for a day so I could stay home and play video games. What I wouldn't do is like OD on medication to get admitted, to get out of school. This sounds like a very serious cry for help, and you should probably make sure she's getting the help. This isn't within the realm of like normal quirky kid things like lying about having a bit more fever than they really do so they can stay home and play Nintendo. You know, this certainly ain't it, man.
It was just a cry for help, so help her!
I really hope she ends up doing well and that you can follow up on your little sister getting the help she deserves, because he is obviously not taking this seriously enough. That is such a shame. My mom's responses to me exposing her husband for being a creep towards me. Ooh, the wholesome little family vibes.
Are you okay with coming home tomorrow after the appointment? Blorp has said from day one that he wants to apologize. He's already cut himself out of any contact with you, and I still say that there won't be any further contact between you and him.
Why are you still together with this man? That's what blows my mind the most. I would imagine any reasonable parent who has their kid's best interest in heart would dump anyone fast as lightning if they did anything like this. Now let me try to act mediator in this. Are you serious? Mediator in this? No.
We had an agreement for alternate week. While I understand you feeling this way, you have to come back home at some point.
Wow. I know. Get the problem out of the house first. Pretty valid.
You didn't mention this first time we talked. What changed?
It's better to get him out of the house than let him stay. You don't know if he will do it again even when you're like cutting contact. Predators don't stop until they're away from who they're preying on. So get the problem out of the house first.
You're okay?
I am fine. Why are you still deciding to not believe me?
Hey.
Hello?
We can resume our regular alternate weeks on Thursday for you to come home, unless you're fine with coming home earlier.
I'm not ready yet. I still don't feel comfortable going.
Why are you still feeling like this? Is there something else?
I have told you multiple times. You're still refusing to believe me. I am not comfortable going back yet.
I already told you that I believe you.
Well, you're not acting like you do. Actually act like you believe me and don't just say it. Actually act like you care.
This has already gone too far in our visitation, and you need to come home. I do care.
Well, the mom in this situation certainly is correct that it's gone too far, but not in the way that that she thinks it has. This also sets a horrible precedent for the future with your relationship with your child, right? Because even if we lived in like a perfect world where this predatory person just decided to never be predatory again and that could be trusted in a magical world which we don't live in, it also shows that in the future, if this were to happen again with someone else, you wouldn't have your child's back. This sounds like a horrible precedent for any kind of trust or relationship to be healthy in the future. It's not only about this thing in the now, which is serious and bad enough, this also shows that in the future you're not going to have their back and you're not going to believe them. How do you expect your child to be safe and comfortable living with you if this is the standard you set for them? You using the visitation plan is clearly proving that you don't care. You're just trying to force me home at this point, even when I'm saying I'm still not comfortable. Get that through your head.
What were the words I just said in the beginning of the conversation? You're wrong. I do care.
It doesn't seem like you care because you're using the paperwork of like visitation schedules to try to force them to come home instead of addressing the thing that makes them feel unsafe. It's like when people apologize, but they keep doing the same thing they apologized for. You know, it's not a valid apology. Your actions say otherwise. How about you just talk to daddy instead of completely ignoring his involvement in this mess?
Your father was the one who told me to talk to you, so I don't know where you're getting this from because I'm not ignoring him in this.
You're not talking. You're being forceful.
I thought we got some of this straightened out for being able to be open and talk about our last conversation multiple months ago. I tried and tried not to push. Take more time then. I am not angry or upset.
Oh, you're not angry or upset. Oh, how graceful of you. You're not upset with the child who your current husband was creeping on. That's great that you're so graceful. Wow.
You don't understand how worried I am about you, and you're ignoring all of this. So take your time and just let me know when you're comfortable coming home.
I'm gonna be honest, that also rings really dishonestly in my ears, at least, because you're talking about being worried about them, which usually imply that, you know, you're concerned about their safety or well-being or something. But basically anywhere that isn't in your house with the person who was literally being creepy towards them is probably safer than at your place, right? So how concerned are you really when you make sure that your house isn't one of the safest places for your own child, you know? I am not ignoring anything. You're ignoring everything. I told you literally everything I can, and you're just pushing it aside. I can't even believe your words anymore. Your actions is the only thing that can make me fully believe that you mean what you say.
What are you talking about? I'm not pushing anything aside.
Yeah, you are.
My name. What are you talking about?
I told you once before that it hurts that you don't believe me, and you retorted back saying that me coming out with this is hurting everybody. Who is everybody? I think you're just projecting and very clearly victim blaming. You're basically just telling me to bear the burden of being molested by your husband and you acting like you don't care at all. I don't know what to believe anymore. Just listen to me for once in your life, would you?
I am listening to you. You're the one who thinks I'm not listening. I told you it goes both ways. I am not projecting. I was referring to baby brother because he wonders where you are, and I have to tell him to be patient, that you will be home soon when you're ready.
Oh yes, indeed, using other siblings as like an emotional bargaining chip. That is great. That definitely shows that she's in the right. Not.
I have to tell little brother to be patient, and don't worry too, because he does.
This is why I was so scared to say anything about this, because I didn't want C or D to worry about me, and even you. I didn't want to think about how all this would affect y'all, but I can't just stay silent forever because that thing would just continue with all the touching. You're very clearly not listening to me and projecting your feelings onto how others feel. Everyone else is upset about this. You're the only one who seems to be hurt. I don't care how he feels because he decided to touch me. It's his fault, not mine. I don't have to care about how he feels at all, and he doesn't have the right to feel sad. Tell C and D that I'm okay, and tell them nothing about this. Unlike how you did last time when D was going over to S. Stop ignoring me.
I'm not ignoring you.
Yes, you are. Stop lying.
No, I'm not.
Okay, then respond to what I said a few minutes ago, because you completely ignored that message.
I did not ignore. There is a difference.
Seems like it. You didn't respond.
I'm not going to say anything else about this to C and D.
You better not. They don't need to know anything about this.
How am I supposed to explain to C why his father is gone?
You can just have him visit. I don't care. Just don't tell them anything about this whole mess.
What am I supposed to tell C why his father is gone then? Why are you asking me? That's not my problem to figure out. It's yours!
Oh my god, this mother in this situation is so insufferable and so enabling of their obviously very horrible new husband's behavior. And then trying to like push everything onto their own child. It's like, now you have to solve this if you're uncomfortable being around my predatory husband. Man, this parent sucks. This parent sucks. This just leads me to believe that this relationship will never really work in the long run because she's already shown her true colors, how she acts when someone who she is prioritizing more than her own kids does something highly inappropriate and predatory. This is not a person that is going to be particularly easy to have a relationship with if you decide to keep having a relationship with this person after y'all are adults. My condolences. That sucks really bad. I hope that the rest of your family is decent and supportive because your mom sucks ass, and not in the fun way.
Dad, trafficking children in schools by
libs of TikTok, of course it is the one true source material.
Time to grow up, son. I don't send these videos to hurt but help. Maybe if you hear it from someone else who will register. Please know I love you and only want you to be best.
Cliff notes for men about women.
Here's a rare thing, a woman actually telling the truth.
Oh, is it one of those like red pill pick-me's from TikTok? I don't even have to watch this video to know what it is about.
Ooh, Star Wars Alex Jones. Got this bad boy framed. The Empire is turning the frogs gay, Luke. They're turning the frogs gay.
InfoWars attacked by auction rigging. Either way, those InfoWars shirts and stickers you have are gonna be valuable. Please watch this and give it some serious thought. Love you. Is he just like completely down the red pill manosphere rabbit hole and just keep spamming the family group chat with it? Oh my god, I swear to god, algorithms were a mistake, man.
The coming night, neon bright, burning light, edged with clouds of grey, pink as pearl, violet, were heralding end of day. Then the nighttime softly falls, echoing God's gentle calls. God made sunsets so they could say, have no fear at the end of day. Death may come to you or me, but God says, look at the sky and see. Gay frog, then blazing glory within your sight. You need not fear the coming night, except when it makes the gay frogs crawl out of the darkness when no one can see them coming. Anyway, men who are trapped in childhood, whether you think so or not, is crucial information. Arrested Development Basics. Ooh, a foot of snow. Natural weather doesn't exist anymore. We're in a silent war with weather and energy weapons causing natural disaster. Praying to Christ is the only thing we can do. I pray for you and our family every night. Love, Dad. Can you imagine, like an actual superhero movie when that was the case? There's a supervillain that can literally control the weather, and everyone is like, oh my god, what shall we do? Recruit our own superhero? No. Let's pray. While the supervillain just goes absolute ham. Man, that would be a great movie, wouldn't it? The Jewish space laser. I knew it. Don't give him ideas, okay? Don't give him ideas. Even things that seem like jokes are not gonna register as jokes, okay?
25 years old, and how dare I go out with friends? Today, missed call, missed call, missed call, missed call. Call me. Call. Missed call, missed call. Call me. Oh, wait a second. This isn't even late at night. Like, don't get me wrong. Spam calling your 25-year-old, even if they're out like a Saturday night at the pub, you know, is still kind of weird and wild and overbearing. But this is like 11 a.m. And then it's like 12:05 p.m. This is during lunch. This is like lunch hours. They're out having lunch in broad daylight with their friends. It's like, oh my god, there's shady things happening over at the lunch place. Bruh. Oh yeah, you know, red light district prime during the lunch hour rush in the McDonald's drive-thru. Oh no. My dad was unreasonably intrusive when I was that age, despite owning my own home and being fully independent. He would drive by and question whose vehicles were near my house. I tolerated it for so long until one afternoon I had the day off. I'd spend all day in bed with a lover, happy as a clam. When he asked, I told him the truth. I just needed to get railed. Badly. His stunned silence was golden, his expression priceless. He never asked again and immediately ceased all questions. Yeah, sometimes people do be like that, right? They keep asking questions that they don't really want the answer to. It's like, oh my god, what are you doing with all the toilet paper? Do you want me to describe in detail when I wipe my ass, or is it like more rhetorical? Oh, here's some good entitled parents goodness. My daughter's father sent a priest to harass me. goody. I had no intentions to make a new post, but today absolutely took the cake. To those who don't know, my daughter, 6 years old, was born from a one-night stand with Jeff. We were never romantically involved. It was a simple one-night stand and we did use contraceptives, but they failed. It happens. A few months ago, Jeff went full psycho and tried to convince me to leave my daughter with him so she could serve as a replacement child for his wife who recently lost her infant daughter. Well, that sounds like an absolutely unhinged solution. Don't get me wrong, it's absolutely tragic that the other child passed away. But this sounds like the most awful thing ever, both for like moving on and processing the grief, and also for the child, who's literally gonna be like traumatized through being like, I don't know, brainwashed into believing they are a different child and like replacing someone else's life. This is, nah man, come on. I refused, and right now we're in the middle of some legal issues. Now for today, I thankfully didn't deal with Jeff. Instead, he sent a priest to harass me at work. I am going to be very blunt. I am completely detached from religion. I am not an atheist, I just don't really like the idea of the Catholic Church. That's the leading religion in my home country. I respect it, and most of my family is Catholic, so I have a detached respect for church officials. Today I was doing some paperwork when I got a call about a priest asking for me. I didn't have any meeting scheduled, and a lot of times we get visits from clergy asking for donations or participation in events. So I figured that was it. I told the secretary to let him in, and things at first seemed rather polite. Shake hands, asking how things were, the usual chit-chat. When the priest began talking about how it had come to his attention that I was a single woman with a child, and that apparently I lived a life of debauchery and hate, his words, I was taken aback and agreed I was a single mother, but I didn't see how I lived in debauchery and hate. The priest then went on to how he knew my daughter is prohibited from spending time with her father, and that I am constantly sleeping around with men instead of living a godly life. How he was worried and thought it would be best I considered giving my daughter a chance to live with a proper family rather than see me sell myself. Can you imagine going up to a single parent telling them that they should give their child away so they had a chance with a proper family? Oh my god, man. Do you think this priest would fit in a toilet for flushing down, because that's where it belongs, with the rest of the shit? Angry was an understatement. I did keep it civil, simply because I was at work and had no intentions of screaming to a religious man at work. I simply told him that my daughter was fine with me. She lived a safe and happy life, and my personal affairs were my own, and that I had no intentions of sending her to another household. I told him that if there was nothing else, he should probably leave as I had other things to attend to. He then showed his hand, and that's how I know it was Jeff's doing. The priest told me he didn't think my daughter would be a happy child with me, but her father was well respected in his church and knew he would raise a proper Christian lady. Yes, indeed, not going through the trauma of like literally brainwashing them into believing they are a child that passed away to replace that for his current wife, which sounds like an absolutely unhinged way to deal with that sort of grief. Have you been told that full context as well? You know, I'm not sure which is more concerning. At that, I laughed and simply said no. I once again recommended he left, and if he didn't, I would be calling security. He left, saying he would try to speak to me again when I am not being hysterical. Ooh, I can feel parts of my blood boiling at the behalf of this lady. I told my secretary and our security to not let him into my office again, and I called my lawyer. I don't have audio, but we do have security feed from him walking into my office. Thank you again to everyone sending me well wishes in my previous posts. We are still working on that move, but school is back and she is loving it. We still have that temporary restraining order against Jeff and his wife, and school officials know it. Yeah, that's good, because these people seem unhinged enough to the point they would probably try to pick up the kid from school someday and flee the country with it, you know? These kind of people can be incredibly unpredictable. Especially they're also trying to use the power of the church to convince you to give your child away. Oh man, yeah, best wishes from this priest. Sometimes I swear to God, people just use labels like religion to just act like assholes and try to be justified in doing so. How dare you have the audacity to go up to a parent just minding their business at their workplace and telling them you need to give up your child because you're not an actual family, but they know nothing about the person or whatever. How do you have the audacity to do that? That is the most unhinged, punchable bullshit I've ever read in my life. Small update, I had a lovely talk with our local bishop. This priest was indeed a real one, but the bishop assured me I won't hear from him again. Oh yes, indeed, good, he'll be sent to God for real. He was very apologetic, and I am comfortable with how our communication went. That actually inspires a fair bit of hope. Hell yeah, the local bishop seems to be a real one. That is actually really good. Talking to the manager actually paid off in this instance. Hell yeah for the local bishop, man. Booyah. Entitled mom wants me to marry my abusive stepbrother. Oh no, what you doing, step-husband? So anyway, to give a bit of a recap, my mother has always preferred my F29 stepbrother Chris M42. He was my abuser growing up and essayed me from the time when I was 11 to 16, when I moved with my half-brother after the worst attack. I recently was tracked down by my mother, and she, along my stepbrother, have been harassing me since. Currently, I'm on a legal fight against him to recover some stolen inheritance from my father and trying to get an RO, among other matters. I'm assuming RO stands for restraining order, which sounds like a good deal in this instance, my god. This weekend, once again, my mother decided to accost me at work. I was working from home, doing clerical work for the clinic I work at. I'm a nurse practitioner, but took some clerical duties to be able to work from home when the mess with my brother and Chris happened. Since then, the time I could work from home has ended, so I am back in the clinic taking patients. For the most part, Saturday went well and quiet. Sunday, however, I noticed that someone shared my mother's name, but not her last name. My mother has a very unique name, very old-sounding, and I have seen it only twice in my whole life. That's pretty sus. Of course, there was a big Latino community where I live, so I just assumed this was another person. We're from a Colombian family, though. I was born in the US to an American father. Lo and behold, it was my mother, using a fake last name. When I saw her, I immediately called my boss. She is aware of the situation and immediately went to ask my mother to please leave the premises. This can be a controversial move, so to explain it before the debate start, she was in for a general checkup, not a life or death treatment. She was not denied because of protected reasons, but because I, as a member of a staff, felt my life was in danger in her presence. There is a lot of other clinics in various prices, and they are open to get new patients, so she can get her checkup anywhere else. Yeah, that's pretty convenient, isn't it? So this is definitely not denying someone emergency care or whatever. It's her specifically seeking out this place because she knows OP is working there. This is allowed in our state's law. If she was hyperventilating or clearly in distress, we would not be able to ask her to leave. My mother, of course, went on a rampage, demanding to be seen by me specifically. Oh my god, yeah, now you know it's not a legitimate checkup or health concern. Now it's like, I also need this specific doctor that I have a restraining order from. Nice. My boss thankfully was not intimidated and just insisted my mother had to leave or else the cops would be called. After a back and forth that I was watching from the security cameras, this all happened in our waiting room. My mother threw a letter at my boss and left fuming. She even pushed a lady that was walking in, though thankfully no one was hurt. My boss brought me the letter and told me she will make sure not to assign me any patients with my mother's first name, and went to make arrangements with our front desk. I took a break and decided to read the letter, mostly to see if it was something I could use for my RO. And one additional thing about ROs, at least from when I read up on it last a couple of years ago, here in Sweden, at least, if I remember correctly, when they assign an RO, or they verify it basically, they look into how much hassle this would be for the person who receives the restraining order, right? So if, for example, both of you work in very close proximity, but you're not necessarily working with each other, it's less likely to get it passed because it's going to inconvenience the life of the other RO person. But the more parts of your life that don't have any natural overlap, so to say, the more likely an RO is to go through, if that makes sense. So in this case, it sounds like the mother doesn't have any actual reason to go there, and especially if the RO was passed, it also means that this isn't some necessary care that you can't get anywhere else. So I would argue that this probably already broke the RO based on my very limited amateur experience, mind you, but it's probably worth looking into. Anyway, this is a translation of the letter to my best capabilities. My lovely daughter, it hurts me so much you refuse to speak to me. I love you so much, and all I want is to recover the years we have lost. I have only you left from your father, whom I loved dearly. I know there is a lot of misunderstandings with Chris. Misunderstandings. Right. He loves you so much too, and I wish you would give him a chance to prove it to you. I mean, he had a chance to prove it in the past, and he repeatedly did horrible things to her for 5 years straight, so I think he's had a chance to prove it and reprove it many times, and we sort of know where that goes, don't we? He always talked about how beautiful you are and how much he wished you two could spend more time together. I bet he wishes that, yeah. He truly adores you, and I wish you would consider his feelings more. I do hope he's burning in agony when he doesn't get to see me. He even asked me to convince you to marry him, and I think it's a wonderful idea. Papa, stepfather, and I are probably divorcing, and this will be the perfect solution, so Chris, you and I can stay a family. This is so fucking unhinged. He keeps going on about how much he wants to raise your and his baby together. Let me know when you want to go shopping for wedding dresses. Love you, my darling mom. I didn't think this could get more unhinged, but this story just took the absolute cake. I'm gonna share a few personal notes here. I am unable to get pregnant. After Chris's attack, I had some medical complications that left me unable to conceive. My mother knows about this. Chris knows about this. The cops know about this. They ruled the whole thing as a consensual thing. And because I was 16, the legal age of consent, nothing was done. That is so disgusting. That is so disgusting. I showed this to my lawyer and he added it to the compilation of things we're using for the RO. Oh, okay, so you're going to file an RO and you're currently creating the paper trail for it. Now I get it. Okay, that makes sense. Still, no court date and the cops don't consider my case risky enough to do the paperwork for a temp order. Yeah, restraining orders should be way more normalized than they are, fam, I swear to God. I do have one officer who is taking this very seriously and has been amazing. It's just the majority who don't seem to care or have too much on their docket to give me a case time. Update. I'm gonna update here since it's only been 3 days and feels dumb to make a new post. Chris has been arrested. Apparently, he kidnapped a 2-year-old baby girl, his cousin's daughter no less. The baby was recovered safe and unharmed from what I heard. I'm glad she wasn't taking for so long. Who knows what the hell he wanted to do with her? If I hear more details, I'll update. I'm trying to use this to get that temp RO. I mean, now it's gonna be way easier to prove that the person is actually dangerous for the RO at least. Oh my god. I wonder if this is what ties in to the whole rest of this unhinged story. That, you know, oh, we're gonna get you married to your stepbrother and you're gonna raise a child together. Oh, we can't make a child together? Let's steal our cousin's child. I wonder if that was like the line of logic in this. Man, I hope you're doing okay. This sounds absolutely awful, but at least it kind of sounds like the trash is taking itself out, and maybe he'll spend the rest of his days behind bars if he keeps getting into this kind of trouble. Like kidnapping babies and that kind of stuff. I can't imagine the system is too lenient on that. He sounds like an absolutely awful piece of shit. When your husband gives you a mini version of him to hang out with whenever you want. I mean, the caption is a little bit weird, but it seems like wholesome enough, right? That's just kind of cute. It's like, oh, the love of your life, and now your kids look like them, so, you know, they have your husband's eyes, and, you know, that kind of cheesy stuff. That's just kind of cute, okay? That's kind of cute. That you have to give away to another woman someday. Mom of 5 boys still having a hard time accepting that while at the same time waiting patiently for my daughter-in-laws. Yeah, that sounds like a healthy thing to do, you know, this 3-year-old son. I'm just waiting for the day another woman comes along and steals him. That doesn't sound like a healthy relationship with your child, I'm gonna be honest, what the hell? Estranged mothers and knorpers. It's been 10 years now since hearing from my daughter. I did a background check and know where she lives and her job. I swear to God, this post actually has 59 likes. People are, like, supporting this. I am convinced she'll never come around. She was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. Ah, so it's her fault, actually. It's her fault, not me stalking her and doing background checks on her. And I don't know if that's the reason or not. Here is my question to the group. What about inheritance? Are you going to leave your estate to a child who refuses to communicate with you? I hope I'm not breaking any rules by asking this. Never thought about the fact that to do a background check on me, I will never be safe. All publicly available background checks are just glorified data brokers. They take public records and sell them among themselves. Yeah, and sometimes on these kind of websites that list, for example, your address or phone numbers and that kind of stuff, you can actually go to them and request for it to be taken down. I have personally done so in the past, and every single time it has been a success. It's not particularly difficult, you just have to spend a couple hours doing it. So can highly recommend doing it. Even if you don't have an insane stalker parent, it's still a pretty smart thing to do, because in the world of the internet, it also means that there are fewer people that will find your phone number and address for, like, you know, spam, scam calls and all kinds of dumb shit. So it's just a good thing to do. Just scrub the internet a bit, you know? Hi, mother. I love you. Heart emojis. Do you know at all what you would want for your birthday? I will let you know. You should go to a Catholic church and confess your sin of an abortion. All I really want is a dog. Wait, so is that 2 gifts, or is the first one like a passing comment? I'm confused. Mom, what the What would even make you think to say something like that? You know that the things you randomly spurt out can actually hurt people. Ah, she's one of those. Yet you choose to say them. Never mind about a gift for your birthday. I would get you a dog if I knew it would eventually rip your face off one day. How does that feel? Yes! It's amazing to me that you even speak to your mother. I mean that seriously. Even in the limited context of your conversation, let's reframe that. Let's examine the unspoken conversation. What would you want for your birthday?
I want you to confess your sins or crimes, you disappointing child. Alternatively, I would like you to buy me a personal bad gift of a living animal. In short, I would like you to fulfill impossible requests.
Like, goddamn OP. I'll reiterate my point. It's amazing to me that you even speak to your mother. This isn't normal. Your mother's response is absolutely abnormal, and she knows that. Yeah, this seems like the kind of person that will bring a lot of peace to your life once they are cut off forever. Man, that sure was an unhinged journey, wasn't it? I do hope you enjoyed it to some extent, as much as I enjoyed having you here. I think it's important to talk about sometimes, because one reoccurring theme I know in these sort of stories is that sometimes it can feel like you're very alone, that you're the only one dealing with something like this in the entire world, and the truth is that you aren't, and you're not the bad one, you're not the one going insane. Sometimes people do suck, and sometimes those people, sadly, happen to be family. Have an amazing rest of your day, you wonderful, beautiful beings, and I will see you again in the very near future. Take care. Mwah. What is this sticky shit? Did I spill coffee on this thing? Okay, anyway, that's great. Well, at least it's coffee resistant.